Have you ever had something that you wanted to give to someone, but they didn't even want it? And it's because they don't know how much they need it, or more importantly, they don't even know how desperately they need it? This is how I've been feeling lately in working with some families. And it's not meant to be a guilt trip, it's meant to be a wake up call. But sometimes I don't know how to fix this because what I'm seeing more and more in my work with kids and families is that kids are becoming more detached, more emotionally distant from their parents. And the most alarming part of this is that their parents don't even realize it. You know, often I will ask parents, in fact, always I ask parents about their relationship or their connection with their kids, and they'll often tell me that it's fine. In fact, the large majority of responses that I get is that they feel like they have a pretty good connection with their kids. The kids listen to me or we're really close or they come to me. But I do think that many people don't really fully realize what real deep connection looks like, at least at the depth of connection that I think our kids are needing nowadays. And to make matters worse, most of us will actually normalize detachment. People will tell me, they're just being kids, they're growing up. Kids naturally pull away, and the focus of their lives is more on their friends. And I'm all for kids becoming independent. I'm all for kids becoming autonomous, finding their voice, but not, absolutely not at the cost of the attachment with you, that deep bond that has to be the primary bond in their life. What I see instead is that kids shift their attachment from parents to peers. And I think, again, parents see this as normal. We even think that it's okay. Although I do think, I do suspect that a lot of parents might have this sort of underlying nagging feeling that it's not okay. But what I don't think people see actually is how dangerous this is. They don't realize that accepting this shift as normal, you're actually giving away the greatest influence you have in your kids' lives. And so I'm trying to hand parents something that they don't even know that they've lost. I'm trying to hand parents a roadmap for staying emotionally connected, staying relevant, staying the most important relationship in your child's life, regardless of what their age is, even if they're teenagers. Honestly, unless there's a crisis, I think most of us are too distracted or overwhelmed or busy or whatever to really see this as such a problem. Let me talk for just a minute about attachment. I'm not going to go deep into attachment theory, but we are all born with the need to connect with someone. This is built into our biology. You cannot grow up emotionally healthy without forming strong emotional bonds with adults. And ideally, that's going to be us. And so when we see kids who grow up without attachment, without bonds, it's disastrous. It's the worst thing you could imagine. And this connection or this attachment happens in stages. You know, when babies are first born, they need to be close to us. We call that proximity. They need to be physically close to us where we hold them and we feed them. And as they grow up, they want to be like us. They start to mimic us. They'll start saying words that we say and body language that we do and actions that we do. They mimic that. And then they want to belong to us. They'll say things like, "You're my mommy, you're my daddy." And this ownership gives them a sense of connection. And then they want to matter to us. They want to know how important they are in our lives. And finally, kids want to be known by us. They want to be really, truly seen and understood. And so, why does all this matter? It's because when a child climbs through these stages of attachment, they develop a deep sense of safety and emotional security. This is how you grow into confident, resilient, emotionally mature adults. This is the process that it requires. And if the process is ever disrupted, either through something extreme like neglect or through more normal things, we just become emotionally disconnected. Or kids are criticized a lot or whatever. We get busy, we get distracted. These kids then struggle with insecurity and behavior issues and emotional issues throughout their lives. And one of the things that I'm seeing now is what I might call the invisible drift. There's a quiet shift happening in families today. And I've been watching this happen for years. And it's so quiet that I don't think most of us see it until the gap has become really wide. And what happens is that when your child's attachment needs aren't fully met by you as the parent, and it's not that they're going to stop needing attachment, they're just going to redirect where they get their attachment from. There's this really great book called Hold On to Your Kids. I highly recommend this. It's by Dr. Gordon Neufeld and Gabor Maté. And they call this peer orientation. And this is basically when your kids start to anchor their sense of self and safety and identity and values in their friends rather than in you and the family. And again, this can look harmless. It might even look healthy because we think, oh, he's becoming more independent now, or oh, she's going through a teenage phase, or they've got their own life. But there's something much more serious and dangerous going on here. It's a complete inversion of the attachment hierarchy. So your child is no longer looking to you for guidance. They're looking sideways to their peers. And this is such a problem. Why is this such a problem? Because peers don't offer unconditional love. They don't offer emotional wisdom. They don't offer developmental safety. They are, by definition, immature. And so when a child attaches to somebody else that's immature, then their own maturation obviously gets stuck. It blunts their development. And so here's the thing that's so dangerous. This peer orientation has become so normalized, it's so culturally reinforced by social media, by pop psychology, that we parents don't even notice it anymore. Not only do we not notice it, we think it's normal. We think it's good. We think it's a part of growing up, but it's not. It is a developmental detour, and it leads to all kinds of problems. And so if your child seems more loyal to their friends than to you or your values, if they're no longer emotionally open to you, if they resist your guidance, it's time to wake up. We have to wake up to the problem that this is and how important and the emphasis that we place on our connection with our kids. But you cannot fix what you don't see. And most people don't see this until it's really late. Now, I want to talk to you about the role that you did not know you were meant to play. What your child really needs is not just love, but it's a deep emotional attachment to you as a mature adult who takes the lead. And we can't ever feel like our attachment is good enough. It has to be something that we maintain or it will go away. If it's interrupted, again, if it's interrupted through us being distracted or us getting busy or us thinking that it's okay to step away and let their friends take over, that's when our kids will suffer. And so this is really an invitation to you, not to become a domineering figure, but to remain securely, deeply attached in a calm, warm, confident manner. You invite connection, you invite emotional safety, you make it easy for your child to rest in your relationship with them. My whole theory, all of my work on connection and credibility, my whole parenting model was about this idea of connection and just how deeply important it is to maintain this with our kids. So if you've lost some of this, or if your kids have become peer-oriented, how do you reclaim that bond with them? It's actually easier than you think. We have to remember that when we're frustrated with our kids, we start to discipline them. And I'm telling you, you cannot discipline your way back into a relationship. You have to go back to being steady and warm and confident. You have to meet your child where they are. You have to show up for them in consistent ways. You have to be a presence in their daily life in some way. It's really, in some ways, it's about putting the time in. And it doesn't even have to be huge amounts of time. It just has to be consistent daily moments of connection, daily moments of time where you show up for them, you listen to them, you engage with them and what they're interested in. Again, you meet them where they are. This doesn't mean that you don't set limits, boundaries. Of course, you have limits and boundaries, but you can do this and still invite this kind of relationship with them. It's not an either or, it's a both. And it's not even about doing more, it's about doing more of what matters most, which is connecting with them. And again, reminder, it's not about managing your child's behaviors. It's more of a focus on nourishing your attachment with them. So you're not focusing on behaviors, you're focusing on your relationship with them. Because when your child feels deeply connected with you, it's so much easier to address any of those negative behaviors because now you have influence with them. So now a call to action. Wake up. Remember that your deep connection with them is the most important thing in your life and in their lives. You can close the gap again. It's not too late. You can become that important figure in their lives. Let this be your focus. Go back to doing the small daily moments of connection with them that will matter. Now, if this message resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Share this with anybody who you think needs it. And I will see you next time.